Hello, everyone that might be listening on YouTube. This is John Lobdell. I'll be reading a little of my poetry and some other people's poetry for about a half hour here. And hope you enjoy it if you're listening. Like and subscribe, as I always say on Facebook. So I like to start with a little body mind centering, which I do by rubbing my hands till they get nice and warm. Put them right over your eyes where they fit nicely. Take some big breaths. And do that a couple more times. All right. Well, I haven't been writing much poetry, but I actually wrote one today. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. My body is growing old, not withering or shrinking, growing. It's like we were a campfire, and after it is just charcoal, we find a golden ring that weds us to an angel, and we walk with hand in hand into eternity. Oh, this is a numbered poem. I forgot. That's number one. Number two. This year the pears did not appear. There was no winter freeze to shock them into fruiting. When life froze my dream, I like to think I found a better one. Number three. The finches have again brought their babies to the feeder. I've no children. A few poems and stories will have to do. Number four. My old cat gets cold now and sleeps purring on my stomach. Yet he also likes to sleep outside, squatting on the cold ground. Maybe he thinks the wild wind will keep him young. Number five. I've been floating down the river of time. Perhaps now it's time to sit on the bank and simply observe, melt into the earth and become a mushroom or a tree. Number six. I've lived a fairly long life. Of course I want more, but something longs for this final chapter. A surprise ending, perhaps? Number seven. I have been growing something in me all these years, a silver being that will slip out of my body and ascend like smoke from a campfire. Not too bad.
I like that.
I like the last one.
Mhm.
Well, let's see. I'll read something out of a book, which I'm finally going to get copies of. This one's called Hiking with a Friend. My friend and I are hiking through an oak forest. It's a nature area between streets and houses, yet it feels original here, old and ancient. We stop by an oak that has let go of life. It simply fell apart at the center. We feel its dead limbs lying on the ground. Like old druids, we are reverent. At the end of the trail, another leads downhill. We descend, trying not to slip on the eucalyptus nuts. We come to a little church perched on a hill. A stone St. Francis sits in the yard. We sit with him. He is mossy and perhaps has some bird droppings on him. I don't think the original Francis would mind. He loved nature and God, and I think he knew no difference between the two. We sit content, at peace. Then it's time to head back uphill. As we feel each of our steps on the supportive earth, we know this is our prayer today. This one's called A Dark Cloud. The finches and sparrows land on the feeder and immediately begin looking around for danger. Are they afraid? I suppose? But not like people fear. We see a dark cloud approaching, yet we don't know if it's real or imaginary. This scares us, this not knowing, this cloud of unknowing. If the cloud would actually release thunder and lightning and torrential rain, it might be better for us. Then we could become active and respond. Or as Rilke suggests, lay down before it as animals do. We feel helpless before what might happen. Sometimes the only way to counteract the imaginary gale is to meet it with our own breath, our lungs opening and closing, just like a celestial squeeze box playing heavenly music. Never read that one before. Not a great poem. Let's see, Glenda, let's read one of yours. This is one by Glenda. Called Time's Door. Time is a journey upstairs littered with broken glass, pausing often to catch its breath. Every shard and sliver a moment or day, gathered as memories placed in a bowl, carried in heartbeats till it comes to a door. My father reached that door before my mother could, and left her adrift in a stormy sea, where her thoughts weren't hers, lost in a fog of froth. Her journey had paused, became quiet and still. Then she found the door and simply walked through. At once I became the next soul to travel, a path of broken glass toward that inevitable door. But I had my thoughts, my memories call. They sing to me often, regret's melody. I search in my dreams for the way to the door, that I might avoid that stony walk for a while. What might await me just beyond those stairs? Will I be a tree or a dog of golden hue? Maybe just stardust to drift o'er the sea, shining upon stairs that lead to the door. I think our poems kind of mesh today a little bit, Glenda.
I was thinking that, yeah.
I had myself turning into a tree too.
Great minds and all that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually not that late. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's read a Tomas Transtromer. A winter night. The storm puts its mouth to the house and blows to get a tone. I toss and turn, my closed eyes reading the storm's text. The child's eyes grow wide in the dark, and the storm howls for him. Both love the swinging lamps. Both are halfway toward speech. The storm has the hands and wings of a child. Far away, travelers run for cover. The house feels its own constellation of nails, holding the walls together. The night is calm in our rooms, where the echoes of all footsteps rest, like sunken leaves in a pond. But the night outside is wild. A darker storm stands over the world. It puts its mouth to our soul and blows to get a tone. We are afraid the storm will blow us empty. I read that one before. Remember that constellation of nails? Here's one by Jane Hirschfeld. Anatomy and Making. In Chinese painting, there are flowers with bones, flowers that are boneless. Also in trees, men, mountains, horses, and houses. A calcium not subject, but angle. The brush is held by minerals into. Fox hairs are soft, yet fox bones and fox teeth are in them. Dragon veins, the space between mountains is called. Lu Chia wrote, when painting a rock, paint all three of its faces. I think of the two Greek masks, one laughing, one weeping, and then of the third, he would have found missing, mask face of wonder, of anger, of rigor, a child's look before sleep. Lu wrote, there is only one thing to be said here. Rocks painted fully are living, and then, of painting people, hands slipped, the sleeves are warm, no feeling of coldness. I kind of went all over the place. Here is a, who is this guy? James Wright. Well, here's a numbered poem too. Stages on a journey westward. Number 1. I began in Ohio. I still dream of home. Near Mansfield, enormous Dobbins enter dark barns in autumn, where they can be lazy, where they can munch like little apples or sleep long. But by night now, in the bread lines, my father prowls. I cannot find him, so far off, 1,500 miles or so away, yet I can hardly sleep. In a blue rag, the old man limps to my bed, leading a blind horse of gentleness. In 1932, grimy with machinery, he sang me a lullaby of a goose girl. Outside the house, the slag heaps waited. Number 2. In western Minnesota just now, I slept again. In my dream, I crouched over a fire. The only human beings between me and the Pacific Ocean were old Indians who wanted to kill me. They squat and stare for hours into small fires. Far off in the mountains, the blades of their hatchets are dirty with the grease of huge silent buffaloes. Number 3. It is dawn. I am shivering, even beneath a huge eider down. I came in last night drunk and left the oil stove cold. I listen a long time now to the flurries. Snow howls all around me, out of the abandoned prairies. It sounds like the voices of bums and gamblers, rattling through the bare 19th century whorehouses in Nevada. 4. Defeated for re-election, the half-educated sheriff of Mukilteo, Washington, has been drinking again. He leads me up the cliff, tottering. Both drunk, we stand among the graves. Miners paused here on the way to Alaska. Angry, they spaded their I'll skip that. Into ditches of crabgrass. I lie down between tombstones at the bottom of the cliff. America is over and done with. America plunged into the dark furrows of the sea again. Here's a Rilke. It's Evening in Skan, or how do you say that? Skne with a little thingy over the A. These trees are high, as if leaving a house. I walk out from their dusky light outdoors into the open plains and the evening. In the wind, the same wind the clouds feel, the bright waters and the wheeling mills that stand on the edge of the sky, grinding slowly. Now I am also a thing of the world in your hands, the tiniest under the sky. Look, is that a sky? Light and holy blue, into which continually pure clouds are entering. Under them shade after shade of white, and over it this thin spun and huge gray glowing as if shining through a red undercoat, and rising above it all of it, this silent blazing light of the sinking sun. What a wonderful building, moving inside itself, held up by itself, forming figures, giant wings, canyons, and high mountains. Before the first star, and suddenly there is a door so far off that maybe only birds have ever felt that kind of distance. I'll move this out. Moving forward. The deep parts of my life pour onward, as if the short river shores were opening out. It seems that things are more like me now, that I can see farther into paintings. I feel closer to what language can't reach. With my senses, as with birds, I climb into the windy heaven, out of the oak, and in the ponds broken off from the sky. My feeling sinks as if standing on fishes. I think that last line is kind of famous. My feeling sinks as if standing on fishes. Let's see. This one by Joey Harjo. This is a whole series of sort of italicized lines. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it means it's a poem. The delight song of the so I tally. I don't know what that is. Is that a tribe or a bird? TSOAI TALEE.
Yes.
I am a feather on the bright sky. I am the blue horse that runs in the plain. I am the fish that rolls shining in the water. I am the shadow that follows a child. I am the evening, the luster of meadows. I am an eagle playing with the wind. I am a cluster of bright beads. I am the farthest star. I am the cold of dawn. I am the roaring of the rain. I am the glitter and the crust of the snow. I am the long track of the moon in a lake. I am a flame of four colors. I am a deer standing away in the dusk. I am a field of sumac and the palm blanche. I am an angel of geese. I am an angle of geese in the winter sky. I am the hunger of a young wolf. I am the whole dream of these things. You see, I am alive. I am alive. I stand in good relation to the earth. I stand in good relation to the gods. I stand in good relation to all that is beautiful. I stand in good relation to the daughter of Tiente. You see, I am alive, I am alive. Mm, I like that. I've never written a poem that has all those lines starting the same like that. Maybe I should try that sometime.
I think I've written a couple that do that.
Hmm?
I think I've written a couple.
You ever hear that? Yeah, I've seen it before. I don't think I ever wrote one. Maybe I'll try this week.
It's actually easier than writing a regular poem because you've already got the beginning of each line.
It got to the beginning of every line, yeah. Actually, speaking of that, this woman, Melanie Green, has one of those. It's just a bunch of names of birds, I think. Let's see, which one is that? Bird list 16. Let's see. Yeah, this is Melanie Green's. This is just a list of birds. Bird list. Wimbrel, Anhiga, Chachalaga, Lazuli bunting, Mississippi kite, elegant tern, least bittern, emperor goose, bean goose, black-bellied tree duck, wandering tattler, laughing gull, poor will, say Phoebe, Chuckwill's widow, blue-footed booby, white-rumped swift, long-toed stint, veery, rough, veery, sora, pichua, peepit, wryneck, dick thistle, sage thrasher, bufflehead, scaled quail, whiter eider, lagopus, greater blue-rumped, three-winged, wide-eyed, two-toed, beardless, buff-bellied, groove-billed swamp chicken, cuckoo. That's another way.
That's not really a poem. That's just a list.
Yeah, that's very fun. Okay, no silliness. This is a Jane Kenyon. A boy goes into the world. My brother rode off on his bike into the summer afternoon, but mother called me back from the end of the sandy drive. It's different for girls. He'd be gone for hours, come back with things, a cocoon, gray-brown, and papery round his stick, a puffball, ripe, wrinkled, and exuding spores, owl pellets, bits of undigested bone and fur, and pieces of moss that might have been made toupees for pieces of moss that might have been made toupees for preposterous green men, but went instead into a wide-necked jar for a terrarium. Terrarium, that's right, terrarium. He mounted his plunder on a poster board, gluing and naming each piece. He has long since forgotten those days and things, but I at last can claim them as my own. Let's see, this one's called Church Fair. Who knows what I might find on tables under the maple trees? Perhaps a saucer in Aunt Lois's china pattern to replace the one I broke the summer I was 13 and visiting for a week. Never in all these years have I thought of it without a warm surge of embarrassment. I'll go through my own closets and cupboards to find things for the auction. I'll bake a peach pie for the food table and rolls for the supper. Grandma Kenyon's recipe, which came down to me along with her sturdy legs and brooding disposition. Mrs. Kenyon, the doctor used to tell her, you are simply killing yourself with work. This she repeated often with keen satisfaction. She lived to be 103, surviving all her children, including the one so sickly at birth that she had to carry him everywhere on a pillow for the first 4 months. Father suffered from a weak chest, bronchitis, pneumonia, and pleurisy, and early on, books and music became his joy. Surely these clothes are from another life, not my own. I'll drop them off on the way to town. I'm getting the peaches ready. I'm getting the peaches today, so they'll be ripe by Saturday.
And it sounds like a conversation.
Sounds like a what?
Conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say it was kind of an interesting way to tell a story. Just kind of matter of fact. Yeah. Okay, what else do I have? Oh, there's a Robinson Jeffers. Boats and Fog. Sports and gallantries, the stage, the arts, the antics of dancers, the exuberant voices of music have charm for children but lack nobility. It is bitter earnestness that makes beauty the mind knows, grown adult. A sudden fog drift muffled the ocean. A throbbing of engines moved in it. At length, a stone's throw out between the rocks and the vapor. One by one move shadows out of the mystery, shadows, fishing boats, trailing each other through the cliff for guidance, following the cliff for guidance, holding a difficult path between the peril of the sea fog and the foam on the shore granite. One by one, trailing their leader, six crept by me, out of the vapor and into it. The throb of their engines subdued by the fog, patient and cautious, coasting all around the peninsula, back to the buoys in Monterey Harbor. A flight of pelicans is nothing lovelier to look at. The flight of the planets is nothing nobler. All the arts lose virtue against the essential reality of creatures going about their business among the equally earnest elements of nature. That's a lot of words. Well, let's see. Time to read a few Marys and be on our way. Here's a Mary Oliver. Such silence. As deep as I ever went into the forest, I came upon an old stone bench, very, very old, and around it a clearing, and beyond that, trees taller and older than I had ever seen. Such silence. It really wasn't so far from town, but it seemed all the clocks in the world had stopped counting, so it was hard to suppose the usual rules applied. Sometimes there's only a hint, a possibility. What's magical sometimes has deeper roots than reason. I hope everyone knows that. I sat on the bench waiting for something, an angel perhaps, or dancers with legs of goats. No, I didn't see either, but only, I think, because I didn't stay long enough. Watering the stones. Every summer I gather a few stones from the beach and keep them in a glass bowl. Now and again I cover them with water and they drink. There's no question about it. about this. I put tinfoil over the bowl tightly, yet the water disappears. This doesn't mean we ever have a conversation, or that they have the kind of feelings we do, yet it might mean something. Whatever the stones are, they don't lie in the water and do nothing. Some of my friends refuse to believe it happens, even though they've seen it. But a few others, I've seen them walking down to the beach holding a few stones, and they look at them rather more closely now. Once in a while, I swear I've even heard one or two of them saying hello, which I think does no harm to anyone or anything. Does it?
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, one more. Mary. Franz Marc's Blue Horses, which I guess is a famous painting of blue horses. I step into the painting of the four blue horses. I'm not even surprised I can do this. One of the horses walks towards me. His blue nose noses me lightly. I put my arm over his blue mane, not holding on, just commingling. He allows me this my pleasure. Franz Marc died a young man, shrapnel in his brain. I would rather die than try to explain to the blue horses what war is. They would either faint in horror or simply find it impossible to believe. I do not know how to thank you, Franz Marc. Maybe our world will grow kinder eventually. Maybe the desire to make something beautiful is the peace of God that is inside each of us. Now all four horses have come closer, are bending their faces towards me, as if they have secrets to tell. I don't expect them to speak, and they don't. If being so beautiful isn't enough, what could they possibly say? All right, lovely friends, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Glenda, for your poem. Julie, Ellen.
Thanks, John. Yeah, nice poem, Glenda.
Yeah,
And
Thank
you, of
you.
course, John. See you next week, guys.
yeah, see you, Julie. Okay, I'm signing off. Thanks for coming, Ellen.
Bye bye.
Let's see. End.